In the 21st century, and with the rise and dominance of the technological sphere in everyday life, education facilities have had to adapt to the needs of stakeholders. Due to the varying nature of the general population, websites must have an intuitive and easy navigational design to adhere to the wide caption of human-centered design. As older adults progress through the natural aging process, they experience some degenerative effects of aging, which can include diminished vision, varying degrees of hearing loss, psychomotor impairments, as well as reduced attention, memory, and learning abilities. Zafras et al., 2006. Regarding the Western Sydney University website, the massive amount of information creates bloat and unnecessary pathing, but it is all necessary due to the split campus nature of the university, creating a paradox. Web design can fall into this category of bloat due to a break of communication between the user and subject material, taking the form of hard-to-understand UI elements or the obscuration of information using too many submenus that increase user activation time to the desired information set. Instead of mainly focusing on the student user experience, reframing the original question has allowed a much broader scope of stakeholders to be considered. The original question, based on assumed knowledge, has evolved based on research carried out to evolve into how can we improve the intuitiveness of the university website's design to improve the stakeholder experience through the lens of optimized learning. This is put into the context of the 21C policy instated during COVID to put the onus of learning and participation onto the students rather than lecturers based on increasing need for a digital learning environment. Plus, the added framing of the concept of sticky campus increases learning via users wanting to stay after class to study, reinforces the need for a landing page that is both intuitive and easy to use. The research methods used in this project encompass a multimodal approach through a case study of other university websites, most notably UTS, Monash University, and UNSW. Visual field data surveyed 21 current student stakeholders, field interviews with 3 other stakeholders taking the form of 2 students and a lecturer, collection of research papers, blogs of effective websites, design, 9 ethnographic maps, zone of proximal development modeling, solutions prototyping, and user-based feedback on prototype solutions. To further refine the initial question asked to add control variables to create a potential solution that satisfies all stakeholders to interact with the university webpage. Initial analysis found that most stakeholders found an issue while navigating around the site, causing frustration and confusion among many respondents to the initial survey. However, this can be somewhat alleviated with experience seen in stakeholder interviews stating that time spent with the website allows some users to create a familiarity with these elements, but states it's based off a 4-year learning period. But it still reveals a problem innate to the passive guidance of the landing page that causes frustration with the web elements. In relation to the principles of sticky campus effects, critical resources take time to activate, then it decreases the willingness to learn and stay within the campus. This allows space for potential interventions to streamline the process for a more user-friendly experience. Another issue presented is that stakeholders feel that some information feels redundant or even pointless as submenus dominate much of the site, forcing them to shift through layers of information to reach what they originally relating to the need for websites to be clear and concise for new and returning users to access information easily. Some respondents to the survey stated that visual fidelity of the website leaves much to be desired as it remains relatively bland, like the PIH building, by having a relatively mute color palette, by having the contrast of maroon color present in the university flare. Some respondents say that it doesn't inspire or foster a learning environment, rather feels like a sales pitch as advertising is quite prevalent in the main body of the website. Finally, some users express concern about the amount of hyperlinked information or its reliance on external sites to convey information to the user while not being able to save information on its own critical forms, with some stating that they would rather have the information present on landing pages rather than it relegated to those external elements. This signifies a massive failure of the website to both passively and actively convey concise information to the user and almost completely fails human-centered design methods in putting the user's needs first. This is more critical center of attention for intervention. With all these issues, allows a chance for intervention to better align with the web page to human-centered design principles and allows a more streamlined focus on optimizing learning for all stakeholders, but resizing some of the main elements like the top banner to prioritize as important through passive guidance to improve readability, and adding symbol typology would vastly improve the time it takes for recognition of specific web elements or functions. The goal is this change to maintain a similar structure of the original website as to not break already set habits for returning stakeholders, but to minimize the actions required for some of the most common site visits and rely information based on simplistic UI changes. The next proposed solution is a continuation of the previous one, as it depicts a submenu element when one of the top elements is selected. Here it shows one of the most used resources as shown in the user survey to try and adhere to user needs. The darkening of the background elements is to draw attention to the newly available information as to better identify these critical elements while still having some elements like the search bar constantly visible, giving users options to manually search for direct information if they wish. The reason for this is to emulate the effect of peer university websites like UNSW landing page to create a sense of familiarity for new users. The goal is to remedy some of the issues identified like too many links and pathing between massive amounts of clutter present on the university webpage at present. The final proposed solution is an alteration of the first and second as it focuses on bringing all the most common elements into one. single UI element. It retains the symbol typology of the originals, as graphically it solves another problem stakeholders have with the website. Through it being too bland, the submenus of the solution would keep the maroon coloration of the original website as to identify it better with Western Sydney University, while selecting a contrasting color for the wording to draw users' eyes back into the critical information. With all these proposed prototypes, user feedback was sought to see if any alterations could be made to the prototypes to see if they could better adhere to stakeholder expectations of meeting the contextual needs. With the user feedback, it reinforced that the technological side of the university is lacking to meet stakeholder needs. The goal of the solution is to reduce the zone of proximal development to optimize the ease of learning, to try and bring the university into a sticky campus theory by easing the entry to access learning material to make stakeholders want to stay on campus to study. Originally, most of the processes in place was more leaning towards the task that learner cannot yet complete even with assistance as a high level of challenge while requiring a high level of competence. These changes aim to bring it back into the zone of proximal development and to ease the barrier of entry. Though the goals of most websites to be intuitive and easy to use for all stakeholders, the university website leaves much to be desired, as most respondents to the survey suggest that it doesn't meet their needs, signaling a failure of human-centered design principles as a mediating mechanism. Yeomans et al. 2022. Through the means of user feedback and research, a data and user-based solution can be designed to remedy this problem. With these solutions, it answers the question of how can we improve the intuitiveness of the university websites designed to improve the stakeholder experience through the lens of optimizing learning, shows that users respond to social cues along with their roles in consumers' perceptions and reactions in an online environment. Yeomans et al. 2022.